So the ultrasound market was valued at whopping 6.6, 8.65 billion.
Billion.
Yes,
That's right.
billion.
Yep,
It's actually a huge number.
it is. And it's not going away anytime soon. That number has increased year after year. During COVID, of course, it lagged, but it's since come back up because clinicians and companies are finding more and more uses for ultrasound. I mean, now you have family practitioners buying it because they're getting reimbursed. You have people in the military using it on the battlefields, the Shed Aquarium here in Chicago. So it's a growing market. And out of that $8.6 billion, Redstone Healthcare has 0.0000000 times 100 probably of that. All we need is our little share. That's it. That's it. And we will continue to grow and
Yeah, I
do it
love it.
organically and some other ways. Yeah.
So, you mentioned military. Have you ever sold to military companies? And
I have. Yeah. So I used to be out in the field.
oh
That's how I
wow,
learned the industry. So I'd put a nice suit on like you and sell here in the Chicagoland area. And I worked for Philips for a lot of years. And one of our good customers was called Heinz VA. And the way the VAs used to do it, or veteran hospitals, they send out a quote unquote bid. This is how business is done where you're from and in Europe. I mean, everything is a bid, and you have to fill out paperwork. And, anyways, if you have a relationship, doesn't matter what's on that bid, you're going to get the deal.
so relationship over the price.
Well, let me backtrack. Back in the day when
Okay.
I was there, now I don't know the rules anymore if different companies have to come in and demonstrate the equipment, because now what happens is companies like GE have bought so many companies,
Oh,
and not just ultrasound. If you think about a hospital, GE sells MRI, CAT scan, X-ray, nuclear medicine, ultrasound, patient monitors, laboratory equipment, beds.
oh wow.
So they go into the CFO, into the C-suite, and they say, you know what? Yeah, you're working with ultrasound. You're looking at 3 machines, but you're also looking at spending potentially $35 million this year.
Oh,
We can do it all.
I see.
So when it's done right, it's great. But other companies like Philips and Siemens and now Canon, Toshiba, try that approach. And usually GE ends up winning.
So they basically have a monopoly.
No.
Not a monopoly?
They just have the breadth of experience and they know how to. So they'll go into a hospital and they'll have an account executive, kind of like, are you familiar with American football?
Yes, I am.
The quarterback, right?
Quarterback. Okay.
So the quarterback goes into, let's say, Northwestern, and they say it's fiscal year 2025. I'm going to go find out who is buying what the budgets are, and I will relay this information. This is really how it is, to the CT rep, ultrasound rep, MR rep, patient monitoring rep. Then there's another liaison. This person often, kid you not, has an office in the hospital
Oh wow.
because they do that much business.
Oh, by himself.
Can you
He has
imagine?
his own
The company does. Yeah. So like if you go into biomedical engineering, GE, Siemens, Philips repair equipment. And a lot of times they take over these departments. So
Oh.
I guess my point is where I'm trying to go with this. Redstone Healthcare, hospitals are not our market.
Not your market. Okay.
No.
Too big.
No, it's too much work.
Too much work.
Way too much work because we've commoditized in many ways. And we offer clinicians real clinical solutions at a fraction of the price
Okay.
with no bias.
Oh,
You
okay.
do you like Philips? And if we have access to Philips, when we don't have access to certain products, we tell them.
Mm-hmm.
And if what, let's say, a clinic in Georgia wants, even if it's in stock, our philosophy is never sell because we want to sell,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't always have the right fit.
Mm-hmm.
And you just want to walk out of every account with that feeling of being ethical and honest. And I just hate the old school, and people do it to me when I'm buying equipment. They'll say, Keith, wait a minute. We only have 3 of these left. And, 9 companies around the world, they're going to buy it. And I tell them, then you have to sell it. If it's meant to be, we'll buy it.
Yeah.
But we don't have any pressure. We teach our salespeople that. We call that used car selling.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Yeah.
So you're not trying to, push really hard and oversell, I would say so, or you are tailoring your solution according to the customer needs.
That's exactly it. Our goal is to solve problems.
Mm-hmm.
Because if our sales team and myself are not asking questions, let's say you're a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
Keith, I'm interested in an ultrasound, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, doctor, what kind of practice? You say I'm an OBGYN. Let me tell you what we have. And I start call it just vomiting at the mouth,
Mm-hmm.
right? After about a minute, you're not paying attention anymore.
Yeah.
But if I say, doctor, so, what are you using now? What do you like about it? What would you improve?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think your patients want to see?
Mm-hmm.
What type of budget? Are you open to refurbished? Have you had any experience with not new?
Mm-hmm.
And you get them talking and you shut up.
I see.
You want to speak less and listen more. And many people just in sales in general, for some reason, don't have that approach. They think the more we talk, the more people are going to listen and spend money. I haven't found that to be true.
You're like advisors, right? For those people.
Yeah, 100%. We're consultants. We get asked almost every day, Redstone, what do you suggest? We have a clinic we just had one. It's a big cardiology practice in Sacramento, California. They told us the equipment they have. They told us some of the issues they've had with one of the vendors.
Mm-hmm.
They said what they want to do. They asked us if they can do billing, and they literally said, what products do you suggest? Oh. And having that information allowed us to say, you know what? Can I have 24 hours? Let me come back to you with a few things. Now there's intrigue because the ball's now in our court. Versus, the worst thing that happens is people will call the office every day, email us, hey, I need a price for this, and I'll send it off to different reps. What's this price? Anytime you do that in a business like ours, which is, we're an online business,
Mm-hmm.
but with feet on the street, right? And let's say, you learned about transducers?
Yes.
Somebody says, I'm looking for an RAB 6-RS. So Henry in my office says, Keith, how much? And I give him a price and he quotes it.
Mm-hmm.
Most likely, that customer says, all right, thank you, Redstone. Let's call around. But you got to build that quick rapport. And those are the ones you do want to close fast.
Mm-hmm.
The small, they're ready to buy,
Mm-hmm. And how do you know that they're small and ready to buy, or it's more like a California, some sort of clinics, and they're looking for more advanced approach?
Just by questioning.
Mm-hmm.
There is a guy named Al Patey, Patey,
Mm-hmm.
and he's in, I want to say, Vancouver, Washington, somewhere in that area. When I worked for Philips, he did sales trainings, And he came up with a system called sales mastery or spin selling.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole purpose is what I mentioned earlier. You are there like I don't know who a modern day detective you would know in pop culture would be, but like Columbo was big growing up.
Mm-hmm.
You're asking questions
Mm-hmm.
and you stop and you listen. And when you're on the phone or on email, you do the same thing.
Okay, so you're asking questions.
You're asking
Get to
more
know
than
them.
absolutely. Because anyone who's buying anything,
Mm-hmm.
there's a problem. You're solving a problem when you buy.
Mm-hmm.
Even with my collection of G-Shock watches, right?
Yep.
The problem may be, as a collector,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be able to get this one, this price, for who knows how long, right?
Yes.
Or I've saved up, I want it, or this one broke.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very small example, but Al taught us that whenever someone buys, you're there to fix the problem. Solution selling.
And how do you keep those like I'm not a big fan of this word, but accounts. How do you keep those accounts like in your in your portfolio and not letting them leave?
Okay. That's a great question. And, I came into the industry in 1998, stayed at Philips for 10 years, went to a startup in California called Zonare Medical Systems, where they invented a 5-pound machine that imaged like a 500-pound machine, right? So the point is, and then after that, 4 years, I had a partner, left, went on my own, started a company like Redstone for many years. Then in 2014 did this. So from 98 until now, I've made global connections, wonderful relationships. I have salespeople. They have relationships. Your company, we're known in the industry, right? But never, ever assume that anybody is our customer.
Oh.
Nobody owns an account. Nobody owns a clinic. Now, they get service contracts and they're bound to you that way, but anybody could buy from whoever they want. The good news is we have a very high percentage of repeat business. Most of it's actually referrals.
Referrals.
Yeah.
Okay, so people are coming to you because
They'll
know.
come to customers of ours around the country. Say, hey, you know what? We're opening up a pain clinic. Who sells ultrasound? I don't even know. A lot of times they'll just say, oh, Redstone Healthcare. Ask for my friend Keith. Either he'll put you in touch with the rep, or you know what? Maybe he'll even help you, which I love doing.
I see. I actually now I understand the business a little bit better, because when you mentioned that you're not competing with those large companies like a GE, Accuzon, Siemens, because your potential and end client is like those people who are maybe looking for some refurbished or used equipment.
Absolutely. I don't like the word used.
Okay. Yes. Refurbished.
Yeah. Yes. Because some companies do sell used. And the connotation to used to me just, right.
Was used really heavy, and then
that's what they say. Used as is working. We say reconditioned, refurbished. I love the word pre-owned with a warranty. And you're exactly right. When I was at Philips and Zonare, and the type of accounts that we sell to now were interested, I didn't jump out of bed to go sell them because the margins were smaller. You couldn't make as much commission, whereas Mount Sinai in Chicago might be buying 10 machines. I want to spend and that's how these other companies are. So there's a huge percentage of the ultrasound population in the U.S. that's neglected. Really.